Hey, what's going on? It's the Theater Weirdos here. Usually we go to movies and then we talk about the movies, but today we're doing things a little bit different. We're going to talk about our 10 favorite movies of 2022. And we're also going to talk about some of our least favorite movies of the year. So we by no means have seen every single movie, but just the ones that we've seen, what we thought of them. That's the point of this video. I do want to give honorable mention to, say, like, Fletch was pretty good. Did you see that one? Okay, that was all right.
Yeah, that was a nice cozy afternoon watch.
Thor wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was fine. Did you see Thor?
I did. That kind of narrowly escaped my worst of list.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that. The worst list will be at the end of the video. Top Gun Maverick, that, like, I kind of thought about maybe putting it on there because I appreciated how much hard work it probably took. Just wasn't really my thing. The same with Avatar. That's not going to go on my list, but I did have fun watching it. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I like that one, just not enough to put on the list also. I had some fun with Black Phone. I also thought parts of it were kind of bad, so that one didn't make the list. Any more honorable mentions for you?
The Batman.
Okay. All right.
Also, my favorite of the Marvel movies this year was something that doesn't get talked about a lot these days. I think it's considered peak mid, is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
So there's just a scene where he's sort of, do you mind if I spoil a little bit? It's been out for a month, or been out for a while.
Sure, light spoiler here.
There's a scene in the end where he possesses his own corpse and makes a cloak out of demons. And I'm like, this is the most metal thing ever. This everything that was right or wrong with this movie is worth it just for this moment.
Okay, awesome. The Menu was another one I thought about putting on the top 10 list. I actually like that one more thinking about it after the movie, I think, than actually watching it. And The Menu is pretty good, but at the number 10 spot, I'm gonna put Nope. I like that movie. Obviously, only number 10, so not my favorite movie or anything. Some parts of it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but overall, great flick. So what's your number 10?
Crimes of the Future.
Never heard of it.
It's the newest David Cronenberg movie.
Okay, I like David Cronenberg. I like most David Cronenberg, I should say. I haven't even heard of that one.
Yes, it stars Viggo Mortensen, who's kind of like his most recent, most common collaborator.
Yeah.
It's his Robert De Niro. It also has Kristen Stewart, who can be really hit or miss.
Yeah.
But when she works, and she worked here, because the whole future is weird and kind of sterile and off-putting. And sterile and artsy-fartsy at the same time. So yeah, I have it at number 10. I think so David Cronenberg is a favorite of mine. Which is interesting because if you've seen me do a lot of videos, I hate when movies are really disgusting. And he is maybe the most disgusting filmmaker who's famous. But I think I like his vision a lot, and I think on some level it might be a nepotism thing, because The Dead Zone, which is nobody's favorite Cronenberg movie but mine, but The Dead Zone is like one of my all-time favorite movies. Okay,
I would have to think about it, but I do really enjoy that movie, and it's one of my favorite Stephen King novels.
So yeah, I love his imagination. I think he's this weird combination of horrific but a sort of dignified sort of heart to him in a way. It's weird.
Nice. What's the movie again?
Crimes of the Future.
So I feel my picks are probably going to be more mainstream than yours.
Right.
For number 9, something you gave honorable mention to, my number 9 pick is The Batman. I thought that was a really fun movie. Movies like that aren't really gonna be my favorite thing ever, but I did enjoy watching that one. It's long, obviously, but well made and a fun time. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Pinocchio. The Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, not the Disney Plus shot-for-shot remake of Pinocchio.
Okay, nice. So, I should have gave that one honorable mention. I thought some parts of it were a little boring, was my only issue. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, this is the thing. This is something we were talking about. Is there are two kinds of kid movies?
Yeah.
One, like the Pixar kind of DreamWorks movies that they know that today's kids are actually going to enjoy. And then there are movies that are on paper kids movies, but are just the directors doing whatever they want.
I don't even know if it's on paper a kids movie if you read the full paper.
I think. I mean, there's nothing that's against the rules for kids movies, because a lot of kids movies have sort of that fascist undertone. Like An American Tail is pretty much a singing and dancing musical about the Jewish diaspora. So there's always going to be that subtext and even text in animated films. But still, I liked it. I think stop motion is maybe Del Toro's calling.
Okay, so number 8 for me is gonna be Violent Night. Not the most original movie, but I did have a good time with it. In another video, we talk about it briefly, and I really like the relationship between Santa Claus and the little girl. And I like the action, and it was pretty funny. So Violent Night is number 8 for me. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is The Woman King.
The Woman King. Haven't heard of it.
That's actually a pretty mainstream pick on my part.
Okay.
So it's about a tribe of woman warriors in Africa.
I think I saw that trailer.
The kind that inspired.
Does it kind of look like the Black Panther sequel?
Right. I think those like figures are actually what inspired the women from Black Panther, because there was a real life tribe of women warriors.
Okay. And that was good?
Yeah, it's like so it's actually a lot like Top Gun, which is funny because fans of either movies are probably opposed to each other politically.
Okay.
But it is very much in the sort of reign of like a cadet learning the ropes from like a master warrior. It's just an entertaining yarn. And I think I liked it more than Top Gun because I like sort of more historical stuff more than contemporary guns and planes.
Okay. Sweet.
Another cool fact is it stars Viola Davis, who's a native of Rhode Island, and not exactly the same theater, but I might have actually seen that movie in the same building that she saw movies that inspired her to become an actress.
Whoa. My number 7 pick is X. I had a lot of fun with that movie. Have you seen X?
No, I haven't. I actually did see Pearl.
Okay. So I actually wasn't that into Pearl, but I did like X. And the selling point of X is like how it's a sexy movie. I actually didn't like the sexy parts that much. I was just more into the straight horror, which I thought was really well made.
Yeah. Usually movies that try and push sexiness on me, I always have like a bad reaction to, because it feels like my dad buying me dirty magazines.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a plot point I don't like really that involves like the sound girl, and I just think, I'm not sure if you're supposed to be like, yeah, you go, but I just kind of felt dirty about it. And yeah, so those aspects I didn't like as much, but I did really like the horror aspects, so that's why it's number 7. I thought it was one of the better horror movies to come out in a long time.
My number 7 is actually on your honorable mention list, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Okay, nice.
I think I can kind of get why like a lot of people were maybe disappointed in it, because it wasn't quite the messer that adaptation was. It was like, and I think I think that's probably why its reaction was a little muted, because it was maybe too surreal for the mom and pops, and maybe too like normal and feel good for those who were hoping for like a biting Hollywood satire.
Okay.
But I don't know, for me it kind of hit a sweet spot. I thought it was funny and kind of clever, but also heartwarming.
Nice. Number 6 for me, a movie that got mixed reviews. I know a lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't like it, is Prey. Are you familiar with Prey?
I am familiar with it. I have not seen it. I don't really have Hulu. For the most part, don't do the streaming thing. I think it's a kind of annoying way to watch stuff. Okay.
So yes, this list is gonna have streaming movies. So many movies came out that were only streaming that like you kind of have to include those as like, you know, real motion pictures. They're not just like made for TV things. And a lot of good ones came out. Some honorable mention ones are Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Kind kind of a one-note joke there. They're trying to get laid, but that's like the appeal of Beavis and Butthead. It's just funny how the lengths they go through, and the same thing over and over and over.
I've seen clips that are absolutely hysterical.
There's a very good scene where he thinks he's talking. I'm sorry, Beavis thinks he's talking to his girlfriend, but he's just talking to Siri. That part was really funny. The Weird Al movie, that had really funny moments. That's another honorable mention, but it was a little bit boring in the middle, so that's not going to go on the list. The Newest Christmas Story, that was kind of bad, but also kind of good at the same time. It wasn't great, wasn't terrible. I'm not going to put that on there. And there's one more streaming movie that is going to make the list, but right now we're talking about Prey. So it's a Predator prequel, and in this one he's going after Native Americans, like in the 1800s, and it's a girl who is the like main hero of this film. I saw some people's reviews; they didn't like that, like it was a woman.
Yeah, no, it's really annoying when they get like, oh, this is too political. Like, no, women have been part of the sort of Terminator, Predator, Alien trifecta since the inception. It's really annoying to get mad at that at this point.
It did have some goofy CGI though, I have to admit that. So what's your number 6?
My number 6 is The Northman.
Nice.
Which is if you're it's you know how Lion King is Hamlet with lions?
Sure.
This is Hamlet before Hamlet. This is the story that Hamlet was based on. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. You would probably be bored by at least half an hour of it, because it's almost kind of a deconstruction of revenge movies where it's just
it's a revenge movie. You perked my interest.
Right, but it's sort of about how it's pointless, and he doesn't even get a real victory in this. It's very pyrrhic, but I love the atmosphere. I'm a big fan of the Middle Ages, and so I like seeing sort of medieval stuff done well, which you don't get that often.
Nice. Is it better than The Green Knight?
I think you'll like it more than The Green Knight. At least you'll understand why people are doing what they're doing in this movie.
Okay. Number 5 on the list. I talked about streaming movies. Number 5 is the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie. Some really funny jokes in this. I had a good time with that.
I don't know if I want to see it. I was such a Rescue Rangers head as a kid. I don't want to see my heroes devolve into debauchery.
Okay. No, I think you should watch it. It'll make you like it even more. What's your number 5?
My number 5, and I don't know if I'm saying it right, RRR.
RRR. Are you sure you're not talking about Tar?
Nope.
That's a different movie?
And I'm not talking about Nope.
All right. So RRR, please humor us here.
It's an Indian film. It's another historical epic. I think this has been a good year for the genre, or maybe I just really like the genre and like seeing them done well. It's about two actual real-life figures, kind of putting them in a little bit of a crossover. And it just has this real... It's both like super macho and masculine, but it also draws from a lot of the Indian cinema, musical, not so much the music stuff, but the choreography, the sort of finesse that they have, and it combines it to something really, I think, just so enthralling.
So number 4 on my list, some people might think this should be higher. Some people might not like it at all. I liked it, not my absolute favorite. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Would you stop messing with that? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which stars me and you and everyone we know. What did you think of that film?
I thought it was great. I thought it was very enjoyable.
Nice. I'm not into movies that are overly weird. This is very weird, but it does have really good action, and it is really funny. And I do like how, you get to see Short Round again. Haven't seen him in a while. So yes, that's why it's not higher, but I did like that movie. What's your number 4?
Mine, and I hope I am pronouncing this right.
Oh God. Okay, here we go.
I pronounce things very wrong. I think I said diaspora wrong earlier. I read more than I talk to people, but that makes this a very fitting number 4, Banshees of Inisherin.
Please give a short description of what that movie is.
It takes place in Ireland, and it's about two dudes breaking up. It's a bro breakup movie.
Okay. You like that more than the movie Bros?
Right, which is a non-platonic two dudes breaking up movie.
Okay. And what's the name of it again?
If I'm getting this right, Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay. Before we get to the number 3, just want to point this out. It's funny, someone's riding a scooter in the mall. Weird. Number 3, kind of cheating because I think technically it came out December of 2021, but it was limited release and I saw it in the theater 2022, so I'm gonna count it. Red Rocket. Had a great time with that movie by the director of The Florida Project. It's about a really like scummy guy who's he was a porn star in LA and he gets basically like kicked out of there. You never find out exactly why, but he was probably like you know, pissing everyone off, and he comes back to a small town in Texas and he meets this young girl, and his big plans is he's gonna get her into porn and he's gonna be back on top. And you're not supposed to like this character, but like they make it so you don't really villainize him either. The director is very good at just showing things for what they are. He doesn't like pass judgment on his characters. Even though the subject matter is very creepy, like it's kind of like also funny, and there's some very funny scenes in it, and it's the type of movie you watch and feel uncomfortable, but then afterwards you like think back about things and like really enjoy it. Did you see that one?
I didn't.
Okay, so I do recommend that one if you like things like The Florida Project or maybe like Good Time or something like that.
All right, my number 3 is Nope.
Okay, I had that at my number 10, but you liked it more than I did, I guess.
Yes, I thought it was like a great blending of different genres. Like sort of the alien invasion horror movie with the Western, and then, so that part where he's racing away from the spaceship on his horse with the old-timey sort of Western music, I'm like, yeah, this is cinema.
Yeah, that did have some really good scenes.
And I thought, yeah, I thought the whole cast was on point with their performances.
Nice.
Just even like the terrible ones, like they made them compelling.
The terrible characters.
Like like Steven Yeun's like cowboy guy who's just like former child star who was traumatized.
Yeah, that part was cool. The former child star part with the monkey, but like kind of not necessary and almost seemed like a different movie. It almost seems like that could have been an episode of, you know, Creep Show or something.
Well, I think that's why I liked it though, is because it was like several movies at once. And sometimes that doesn't work, but for me it did work because it was sort of a moral for the whole story is about stage animals.
Okay, yeah. So my number 2 movie, probably the most obscure movie on this list, is one called Brian and Charles. Have you heard of that one?
I have not even heard of it.
It's a light comedy, kind of maybe slightly similar to Lars and the Real Girl, but about a guy who builds a robot. But spoiler alert, the robot is actually real and comes to life. And it's just like lighthearted and fun. The movie stars a guy who plays a character in a lot of Ricky Gervais stuff, and it's the same character. Kind of how like in you know, the Cheech and Chong movies, there's Pee Wee Herman, but like it's not the Pee Wee Herman from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Kind of like that. And yeah, I just enjoyed this lighthearted, quirky movie. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. I had that at number 4. You're going with number 2.
Yep. I think for me, I like the weirder stuff, and as with Nope, I kind of like when they flex and try. If you can pull off 2 different tones at the same time, you have me. And so I think for me, when Jamie Lee Curtis and Michelle Yeoh are having their alternate universe breakup and tearfully stroking each other with hot dog fingers, I'm thinking, okay, this is my jam.
Yeah.
They're like, just it's so ridiculous and so poignant at the same time, and I love when movies do that.
So strangely enough, we both saw this in the same theater at the same time and didn't even know we were both there. We didn't plan it. We were just in the same theater. Is that strange?
Yeah, it's a real Banshees of Inisherin bro breakdown.
Whatever that means. I guess that's right. But yeah, that's what it's like. Okay, so now it's the time you've all been waiting for. The favorite movie of 2022. I can't even imagine what yours is going to be. Oh, I can't think.
You sort of in a way name dropped it already.
Okay. I can't. I'm sure if I looked back at the list, I could guess, but I'm just going to tell you mine. Favorite movie of 2022 was Barbarian. This movie is so awesome. Such a great horror movie. It's also very, very funny at times, but it's not a horror comedy. It keeps the horror and the comedy separate, and it is just so well made. And I was so impressed with that movie. I loved every second of it. Highly recommend Barbarian. I don't even want to say anything about the plot. I think you should watch it and find out for yourself. What's your number one movie?
My number one movie of the year is Tar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought, like, really fantastic performance from Cate Blanchett.
Oh, sweet.
And it's very funny in a super, super dry way, where some people might not realize they're trying to be funny. But if the context of everything, you can tell that it is a very strong satire of sort of both people, sort of a satire of people who are abusers, but also on some level people who profit from abusers, and then as soon as the cancel mob comes along, they're like, oh, we hated you all this time. So it kind of says that everybody's fake. It's not a very optimistic movie.
Is it a woke movie, or is it like anti-woke?
So this is what I would say. It's not either of those things. It makes, I think the director made Little Children.
Haven't seen that one.
So basically, if you look at that, you know that, like, he thinks that bad people should pay for what they do, and Tar is a very bad person.
Do you think I would like the film?
I think so, if you were in the right mood. But I think, but also the movie kind of holds the court of public opinion in contempt, because it definitely doesn't say like that woke people are wrong, but maybe some of them are fake.
Okay. And those are our favorite movies of 2022. Now it's time for our least favorite movies. We didn't go out of our way to see things that we know we would hate.
It's too expensive these days.
Right. So, like, Firestarter is one I thought I might like, and then I saw the reviews were absolutely horrible, so I skipped that one. I'm not going to watch Blonde. I don't care about that. Morbius looked really bad by the trailers, so I'm not going to go to see that just to say how bad it is. These are just ones we thought would be good, but boy, were we wrong. And I kind of feel bad about putting this one on the list because it's not the worst thing ever. It did some things right, but Halloween Ends is a very bad Michael Myers movie and a very bad way to end the franchise. But overall, if it wasn't related to Michael Myers, it's not that bad. Like, for instance, if it came out, if it switched places with the last movie and just didn't end the franchise, I think it would actually kind of be good. Did you see that one?
I did. Yeah, at this point, I think I'm sort of fascinated by the character of Corey, who's, like, obviously awful, but it's sort of funny at the same time. I just think it was just sort of funny how he gets pushed off a building and then just goes from, like, a scared nerd to the
off a bridge.
Off a bridge, yeah.
Yeah.
He goes from, like, this really scared little guy to a total Chad riding a motorbike with the wind swept in his hair, and all he needed was to be bullied one more time to sort of reboot him. It was just funny to see him bullying Mike Myers. Mike Myers. I don't know if Mike Myers was legitimately scared or he's just thrown off that nobody ever tried that with him before.
Yeah. Do you have a number 5?
Yes. Don't Worry, Darling.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
So I don't know if you've heard the like, it's now mostly known for Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles gossip.
Okay.
Because Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be in the movie, he got fired and replaced by Harry Styles, and she hooked up with Harry Styles. And so yeah, but watching the movie itself, it was just trying to be a modern Stepford Wives. And it's definitely like a strongly feminist movie, which I don't think is bad. I think Woman King was a good movie. I thought Promising Young Woman was good. But I think this, Olivia Wilde doesn't understand dude bros or nerds or anything like that. Like, he thinks that the world that we would create just looks like a 1950s house party.
I'll make sure not to watch that one. So number 4 on the list, and this might upset people. I have a feeling some people watching this love this movie. I kind of liked it. There's parts about it that I liked, but overall, I thought Terrifier 2 was way too long and nonsensical, so I'm gonna have to put that on the worst list. It's 2.5 hours. A movie about a clown cutting people is 2.5 hours long. That's like the same length as The Godfather. Why? There are some good scenes, and if it changed gears after the first 10-minute mark, I might actually like the movie. So Art the Clown goes into a laundromat and is covered in blood and does his laundry and sees a little girl clown, and it turns out she's imaginary, which is fine, whatever. He's a psycho, so of course he sees things that aren't really there. But then, like, strangely enough, a couple other people see the girl. Mm-hmm. Like only 3 people living see the little girl clown. If Art the Clown was just a regular guy, psychopath clown killing people, I would have liked it more than him being a demon. What is your number 4 worst movie?
I actually didn't super go out of my way to avoid bad movies, because sometimes I'm stuck in the city for a couple hours and I have points on, my movie pass or whatever. So I gotta kill time. This Secrets of Dumbledore, which is the latest and probably the last ever Harry Potter adjacent movie. It was definitely better than I think the previous one, the previous Fantastic Beasts movie, which was just a train wreck in every way. But this is just, I just don't care anymore. I don't care about anything that happens. It's just a bunch of really bad soap opera stuff. And, it's not really worth it. And I think like partly it's because J.K. Rowling has gone off the deep end, but partly the actual stuff she's making now is terrible.
Make sure not to see that movie. Number 3 on the list for me is Men. I didn't think the trailer of Men looked good, but I went to see it anyways because it's by the director of Ex Machina and Annihilation. So I thought, like, oh, maybe it will be good, but it was very just bonkers crazy. And I hate to talk about feminism. I'm not anti-feminism. I'm not anti-woke. I'm not that pro-woke. I'm just a regular guy. But this tried to jam feminism down your throat, and it's like you're being mansplained feminism by a male director. And I feel there's a lot of movies like that where you don't even know if it's pro-feminism because it makes the characters look cuckoo. So you don't know if it's like purposely like trying to sabotage their own agenda. But anyways, it's a very silly movie, and at the end of the film, you see a mangina give birth.
Sounds delicious. My number 3 movie is a very different movie. It's Spirited.
Okay.
It's a modern take on A Christmas Carol, because we don't have enough of those. And I largely didn't like it because there's like a bunch of people who I don't think can singing, and everything looked really fake, and maybe it was on purpose, but it just kind of looked ugly. And it also had a lot of really bad world building, like rules that would just come out of nowhere, which reminded me of Cool World.
Okay. Now time for the number 2 least favorite movie. And it's actually not that bad in my opinion. It's just so painfully mediocre. And it's supposed to end a franchise. And oh my god, it's just like so boring. And that's the newest Jurassic World movie. I saw it in the theater, and there was a guy in there who I don't think was all there in the head. He might have been a little goofed up. He had worn sandals, but he had his sandals off, and he was spinning them on his finger, and he was looking at his twirling sandal the whole movie. And I spent more time watching that guy than I did looking at the screen.
I was about to say, it's like he ruining the experience for you, because
no, he made it better.
Because it's not. Yeah, I mean, blame them for the locust plot.
Yeah,
just like, hey, let's see dinosaur. Because I was actually starting to think like maybe the Jurassic Park movies should include other prehistoric animals like woolly mammoths and smilodons and stuff, and they did, but it was bugs.
Yeah. So, what's your second least favorite movie of 2022?
Mine is Black Adam.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that one.
Right, it's a movie that was made just because Dwayne Johnson resembles a comic book character. Because it's this kind of a spin-off of Shazam, which I actually thought was pretty good. But no, I think there are two problems. Is that they're trying to push themselves as, oh, this guy kills. He's not like your other superheroes. And that's pretty much just a comic book trope. Like, people, like superheroes in movies do, you know, pretty much have a pretty high body count, relatively speaking. It's not that novel for a movie. And also, to make Black Adam, played by Dwayne there, look good, they made the other heroes just absolute idiots, and which is fine, but it just so I'm spending half the movie just with complete clods who are wasting my time.
Okay, time for our number one least favorite movie of 2022. Before we go into that, here at Best Buy, I wanted to show these. I did want to see these movies, but didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I definitely saw Vengeance. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
Cool. I'll let you go first with your least favorite, because I'm sure my least favorite is even worse. What's your least favorite?
All right, so mine is Moonfall.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
So, I am not the biggest fan of disaster movies.
No, they suck.
Because I think that they're all like the stupidity of like superhero movies, but but they try and make them more realistic. And about domestic dramas, and it just never goes well. This is maybe the stupidest movie I've ever seen, with actual real actors in it.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, Halle Berry is an Academy Award winner. I know the guy from Hard Candy.
The guy from Weezer, Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson. Oh. Wow, it's right there, and I missed it. Patrick Wilson, yeah. Just it's Donald Sutherland has a small role. It's basically, what if the moon was a robot? and it's also, I don't know how I feel about movies kind of making conspiracy theorists the hero. Because maybe this isn't the best time for that kind of thing. When people are like, oh, vaccines will turn you into zombies or something. And also, it kind of has like the bad cop tropes. Like, you know, you gotta back your partner up. Well, but they're astronauts, not cops. It's such a ridiculous, stupid. Michael Pena is in there playing like you know how every disaster movie has like the ex-husband?
Yeah.
He just plays that stock character. It's like, why? I don't even get how that became like a weird cliche for the genre. Like the annoying ex-husband, the annoying new husband to the ex-wife.
Okay, so Moonfall, your least favorite movie.
Right.
Have to put these back nice and neat. There you go. Okay, time for my least favorite movie of 2022. And I talk about this movie on my Patreon page. And if you want to subscribe to my Patreon, it's as low as $1 a month, and it unlocks everything, and that helps me out. Okay, least favorite movie of 2022 is this turd right here, Clerks 3. It is god awful. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not funny at all. And the only time it has original parts, it's mostly just a rehash of the first movie. When it is original, it's not funny at all. It's so bad. And what baffles my mind is people actually like this. It has a halfway decent review, maybe like 6.5 out of 10. You didn't see this, did you?
I didn't.
Nope. Well, you might want to keep it that way. I didn't like it at all.
Well, now I'm morbidly curious.
Yeah. No offense if you did like it. I'm actually jealous of you. And let me know in the comments if you like this movie, or if you disagree or agree with anything we said. And we do appreciate you watching. The Theater Weirdos, we're out of here.